Welcome to Building Better Communities with Bob Hart. I am your host, Bob Hart. Today I am very excited because I invited Grace Wang, PhD, and the new elected president of Worcester Polytechnic Institute to be my guest on the podcast. This conversation will be about how President Wong leads a highly respected educational institution, which happens to be my alma mater, that I'm very proud of, and continues to advance exceptional efforts to build a better community through the academic world in engineering and science. As always, we'll try to conclude with something fun and interesting. Before I begin, Grace, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Bob, for having me.
Great to have you here in California. I know you're here on a speaking and listening tour and meeting a lot of people who are affiliated with WPI, and it's very exciting.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we had better weather for you, but...
Oh, no, this is much better.
Better than Worcester. If you haven't been to Worcester, this is definitely better weather here in LA.
Yeah, this is the spring.
So let me first give our viewers a little bit about Grace's background. So Grace is a PhD in material science, and she's a very accomplished and collaborative leader in all of higher education and government and also private industry. She began her term as WPI's 17th president. WPI is a 159-year-old school that was founded in Worcester, Mass. in 1865. So Grace is a material scientist, and she's very accomplished and a collaborative leader, and I've gotten to witness that personally in higher education, in government, and private industry. She began her term as WPI's 17th president on April 3rd, 2023, and she also serves as a professor in the Department of Material Science at WPI in mechanical engineering. President Wang was elected to WPI's Board of Trustees, which I happen to serve on myself, after an extensive national search. We stole her away from Ohio State University, where she was an executive VP for research, innovation, and knowledge. And as a professor in material science and engineering at OSU, her efforts expanded the university's research and innovation ecosystem, achieving $1.3 billion in annual R&D expense during her tenure. She's a bit of a rainmaker in R&D, so we hope she does that at WPI. Grace's focus in her career has been on supporting faculty members, staff, and student researchers, innovators, and entrepreneurs, really building a better community wherever she's been. President Wang led the team to support curiosity-driven research, attract external funding to establish multiple large-scale impact-driven research projects and research centers. She's launched campus-wide entrepreneurial activities, and she's enabled experiential learning opportunities, which WPI does, which is great. President Wang played a leading role in building a number of large-scale strategic university partnerships, setting the vision and paving the pathway for the development of Ohio State University's Innovation District. We want you to replicate that at WPI.
Yeah, definitely.
We're trying. Grace, welcome.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Bob,
Good
for
to have
having
you
me.
here.
Yeah.
Great to have you in California.
Yeah.
And it's always a pleasure because we don't see enough of WPI people out here. So it's good to have you here.
Yeah, what a great pleasure to be here.
Thank you, thank you. And I think after today, you're heading over to Jet Propulsion Lab, right?
Yes, yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah, I'm going to see the 16th president
Of WPI?
Yeah, Dr. Laurie Lechin,
Yes.
the first female director of JPL. Yeah.
And I think she was the first female president of WPI.
True.
And you're following in those footsteps.
Exactly, yeah.
And that's pretty good for a school that's been led by men for 160 years.
Yeah, and it's very cool for a STEM university to have two female presidents so far, which is really phenomenal.
Really phenomenal. I mean, when I was a student there in the 70s, the ratio of men to women was under 10%.
Yeah, and we only started admitting female students in 1968, so
Wow.
tremendous progress if you look at it.
So basically, let me start by telling you why I'm thrilled to have you here to join the podcast, because I think this group of listeners, although they're primarily in real estate and finance, they may have young children that are aspiring to be engineers and scientists, sons and daughters. I think it's very exciting to hear about what's going on in the world of engineering, in the world of science, because it affects our daily lives.
Yes. Yeah.
So I'm excited to hear about that, and I think the viewers will be as well.
Yeah. I'm also very excited. I think California has a large talent pool here, and we absolutely want to attract more students from California and together working in STEM field. Yeah.
No, that would be great.
Yeah.
I mean, you have the industry out here to support engineering jobs in the Silicon Valley and Los Angeles, between aerospace and AI and electric cars and you name it. So it's a great place for WPI to feed off of. So Grace, let's talk about your background a little bit and give our viewers a chance to understand how you got from where you started as a PhD from Northwestern to the position you held at Ohio State, and how all that affects your goals and dreams for WPI.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so of course I'm an engineer,
Yes.
same to you, same as you.
Except you have 7 U.S. patents.
Yeah, so as an engineer, of course, when I started here in Silicon Valley in California, I have the real world experience to launch a technology into the product and seeing that product going to the marketplace. So today at the WPI, I think the particular strength of WPI's education is we make sure that our students not only have the knowledge, they also have the motivation, but also the skill sets to work on real world solutions and make sure these solutions will have real world impact. And so having done that all by myself, I not only understand how to get it done, but also truly, deeply appreciate the value WPI's education has created.
Well, I think WPI students are very innovative, and they have been for years. And it all started back in the mid-1800s when Robert Goddard, the father of American rocketry, went to school there. Yeah. I think he blew up a building, though.
Yeah, I think that was a story about
that. Was the famous folklore. Yeah. But I think WPI has been involved in innovation in battery technology, and I believe in the space program over the years, and many, many interesting areas.
Yes, yeah. So WPI has this very innovative spirit from the day one. And as you said, actually from Goddard, that's actually there was, you probably know the story, right?
You might want to tell it a little bit. It might be fun to hear.
Yeah, no, he's of course broadly believed to be the pioneer in the rocketry, and so when he was a student at WPI, of course these were all just the story, and we believe that there is one day he was doing some experiment in the basement of a building, and the smoke just came out of the building, and instead of thinking there's something wrong with this student, WPI administration think, oh, there's something going on with this student. So they actually moved his lab to another place, and
I think to Auburn or somewhere off campus. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. No, it's actually that place is pretty close to Boynton Hall, where my office is right now. I can literally see that place.
Oh my God! Really?
Right. It's still there, and so they moved his lab over there to make sure that he can conduct his experiments. And look at where we are today, right? Look at the JPL, SpaceX. We were there this morning, and it just. The space exploration and all the efforts started with Goddard's imagination.
Yeah,
That's the spirit of WPI.
It is, and that's really been really over the last 150 or so years. Yeah. It hasn't been that long, yeah. And now we launch satellites that go to the outer atmosphere, yeah. And eventually we'll probably be able to land a mission on Mars.
I know, and we have a high-power rocketry club at WPI. Over 150 students are involved on a regular year, and they do a competition in launching rockets. And I always say, in other places, you will say, oh yeah, this is so complicated. It's probably like rocket science. At WPI, it's only rocket science. Our students love it.
Well, it's an exciting area. So tell us about what attracted you to WPI, to this particular job, because you had a very good job. Yeah. And WPI is a much smaller school than Ohio State.
Yes, yeah. But WPI is really distinctive and well-regarded STEM university. And since I arrived at WPI last April, I have asked many of our students why exactly the same question. What has attracted you to WPI? And almost every one of them told me at least these two things. One is they have found their people at WPI, and they really love WPI's distinctive project-based learning. And
talk a little bit about that, the collaboration aspect of it.
Yeah, so WPI has, instead of having 2 semesters or 3 quarters, WPI has 4 terms. Each term has 7 weeks. So it sounds like very fast pace, but I must say our students love it. It's very focused academic pace, and as we focus on each term, most students take about 3 courses. Highly focused effort in there. And
it might be perfect for real estate too, because it's very fast paced.
Yeah.
At least most of the time it is.
Yeah, and the industry is actually a lot faster paced than that. I was talking to some of our alumni. They said WPI prepared them for the industry a lot better than anywhere else.
Oh, I think so.
They are 7 weeks. You got to get work done. So they understand the timeline. They understand how to manage the time. They also understand how to manage the stress and manage themselves, right? Manage the pace and how to get help.
WPI is like over a 90% placement rate, right?
Oh yeah, it's a 90 to 93% first destination placement rate, one of the highest in the country.
And pretty high starting salaries for kids coming out of school.
One of the highest average starting salary at the bachelor level is $72,000 to $75,000 starting salary. Master degree, $85,000 to $91,000 average starting salary. Wow. And the PhD, it's over $100,000. So it's very highly sought after because the way we have structured our academic approach.
Let's move on here. So you're a material scientist by background, by education, and then you've become almost like even though you're working in education, you're the same as an industry CEO, because you're now gone beyond that into the functioning of a major university in terms of raising money, dealing with real estate issues, dealing with student life issues, dealing with government issues. So with all of that, how do you remain focused and strategic in what you do? How do you maintain that focus?
So as you said, it's probably very similar. You're a CEO, very similar to any CEO. You have to do the same, right? Stay focused and at the same time also stay strategic. And to me, I think it's how I spend my time, how I manage my time. And during the day, if I'm on campus, 100% I focus on the campus, focus on what we need to do on a daily basis, and of course focus on our mission, the education, research, student experience, and also focus on who we serve. We serve our students, faculty, and staff. But when I'm at home, when I get home at night, I absolutely focus on thinking about the future. So I read a lot of reports. Yeah, and with my leadership team, we frequently have this very small mini retreat, what I called a few hours. And so you have to carve out time, sit down together as the leadership team. And sometimes I sit down with our faculty members on a regular basis, talk about the future. What is the new way of teaching? What are the new research questions we can ask? Where is the technology going? So we have to be intentional to carve out the time, figure out what is the strategic trends in teaching, in research, in the STEM workforce landscape, but at the same time, on a day-to-day basis, stay focused.
Yeah, it's interesting because, people outside of education may think that universities move very slowly and they're very bureaucratic, but we'll call it in the social media information age, is what we're in, information travels very quickly. And so this has to put greater demands on you, professors, staff, because you need to be responsive to what you're being asked.
Exactly. Yeah, and not only that. So that's a really, really good point. In the old days, the students get the information mostly from the textbook, and then in the classroom. So in many ways, you will say this information has been validated by the faculty members, by many people, and so you acquire the knowledge, and you know the experts have already tested this knowledge. Today, the students will get information from anywhere, right? From social media, from the internet, from the classrooms, from outside the classrooms, everywhere. So the students not only acquire the knowledge, acquire the information, they also need to be able to assess the knowledge, knowing how to critically assess those knowledge, and then figure out what is the right facts and knowledge, and then how to apply that knowledge into the real world solutions. And so that's why the critical thinking and also creative thinking, how do we teach that, is becoming even more critical. And that's why I think the WPI education is more relevant than ever. We use project-based learning to make sure that our students have the opportunity not only sit in the classroom, but they also go to our global project centers dealing with real world problems. And when they don't have a real world solution, they have to figure out how to get it done. So that's why they need critical thinking. So we teach critical thinking.
What do you have, like 80 project centers throughout the world? It's a big number, 54. I went to the one in Washington, D.C.
Oh, you did? Oh,
Yeah, that was early on.
That was our very first global project center.
In D.C.?
Yeah.
Okay.
In 1974, and now is this year is.
That's when I was there in 1974.
It was the first year. Yeah. We have 54 global project centers in over 30 countries. Wow. Yeah.
And so you have to manage those with local people and with professors from WPI that have to go over there.
And each center we send our faculty advisors, and we work with our local sponsors and partners. Yeah.
So it's almost like running an international business.
Yes, and that's what we want to do. We want to make sure our students will be ready for the companies that have nationwide coverage and global coverage, right? So they need to understand global coordination. They understand the culture, policy, how to communicate, how to work together, and they need to have that perspective.
I think those are very critical, certainly for engineering, which is collaborative, but also for business.
Oh, yeah.
And I know that's what's helped me a lot in my career, is the foundation I got there, and how to solve problems.
Exactly. And exactly, I think that's a really good point. Think about our students. They must come up with business viable solutions. The solutions must be cost effective and work for the business. So that's another thing they learn from the real world experience. Yeah.
So WPI over the last, 2 or 3 decades has moved from just traditional engineering disciplines to other new fields. Talk about that a little bit and what's happening in the world of engineering education and the direction things are moving and what you're proud of, I guess, that with regard to WPI.
Yeah, so you know the history of WPI, as you mentioned, 1865, right? That's really just a few years before the start of the second industrial revolution.
Right, the Blackstone Valley was like the Silicon Valley on the 1840s.
Yeah. And
there was a lot of metal bending and abrasives and different materials that were used, and bridges were being designed in New York and places. It was
the manufacturing industry was booming at that time.
Yes.
And Central Massachusetts was viewed as where the innovation was coming from.
Right. It was like the Silicon Valley was
at the time. Yeah. It's and I was reading the history. They said it was more inventions coming out of that part of the country than any other sections at the time. That was really where the Silicon Valley was at the time.
Within 200 square miles, you have the 3 oldest engineering schools in the country at MIT, WPI, and Rensselaer.
Yeah, And that's the starting of these technological universities to meet the needs of workforce, right? Because with that kind of emerging industry, you want to meet the workforce needs. And then think about this in the late 1960s and early 1970s, WPI realized our curriculum was way too rigorous in the
Really?
face of this new digital trend, particularly with the integrated circuits and the beginning of the computer. And think about that in the late 1960s, it was really just the beginning of the digital era, and WPI
really
already
was.
started thinking about this.
I think we were using Fortran
Uh-huh.
with the cards.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had to have people help me with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, so things have moved very quickly, and I think WPI has advanced. I mean, you've gone into biomedical engineering,
Yeah.
robotics.
Yeah.
Talk a little bit about some of the innovative areas.
Yeah. So with that kind of with the trends going, WPI start not only working in engineering, and now we have we work in science, and particularly in life sciences and computer science and data science. And we also have a holistic arts and humanities education offering to our students. And I think what's really exciting today when you look at WPI is at the interfaces of engineering with life sciences and also computer science, data science, and artificial intelligence. If you look at the interface of these three areas, and together with environmental sustainability, there are a lot of opportunities that WPI faculty member has been exploring, and a lot of research frontiers we have been pushing. Yeah.
Let's talk about AI for a minute, because it's become a buzzword. People are wanting to invest in AI companies.
Yeah.
There's a certain fear about AI. We saw that play out in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
You know, there was concern during the writer's strike about writers being replaced by basically artificial intelligence. So how do we balance as a society the concerns we have about the unknown with the practical nature of what AI could do for us as a society in a positive way?
Yeah. So I think just like any disruptive technologies, right? They come with benefit and with the functionality they will enable. At the same time, they come with risks and threats. And so AI is no difference from there. So that's why when we just launched our AI master degree program, and the reason we launched this as a degree program is AI is no longer just a subcategory of computer science or data science. It's at the interface of course, a lot coming from machine learning, artificial intelligence related to the computer science.
Space age stuff.
Right. Yeah, but also it's think about ethics, think about policy, bias, and the implication of the AI, and particularly how do we make sure that we apply AI with social responsibility.
Well, it gets into social ethics.
Exactly. So that's why it's no longer just something we need to understand. It has to be fully integrated into the education, engineering education or scientific education in AI. And all the students, if you want to utilize AI or enable new AI technologies, we have to understand it comes with responsibility, comes with a requirement of ethics.
Yeah. We're actually, just to digress for a minute, in our business, in real estate, particularly in a multifamily, we're starting to see the use of artificial intelligence and business intelligence in helping us as an industry understand how to set rents properly. And in the past, you know, there was no sharing of information on a broad basis. You had to go seek out what your competitors were doing. And now you can, in a period of 5 minutes, understand that through the technology that exists in the software now. And you can make your decisions better.
Right. Yeah. That's what AI is enabling, right? And AI is really rapidly transforming many of the industry sectors, and because they have this capacity not only analyzing the data quickly, generative AI provides some a lot of more capacity for us to understand this data. But at the same time, it comes with, again, if you put into the data, you want to make sure the data is not biased. And it's like in the real
Yes, exactly.
right? So it's the bias in, it's the bias out. So you don't want to have a biased conclusion. You want to make sure the data does not have bias.
And that's where the operator of that data makes a big difference.
Yeah. And from a workforce perspective, you can imagine is who you need and who you want to hire over time will change, right? So this data scientist is no longer just helping you keep the data. They are becoming part of the strategic decision. They help thinking about what needs to be done. So that's changing the nature of the jobs. And that's exciting. It's just we need to make sure we prepare the next generation for this new type of jobs, and also upscale the existing workforce to make sure they are ready for this new type of jobs.
Yeah, it's a huge issue. We've seen it play out, frankly, at the ballot box, where you have people that have been unfortunately left behind in old industrial cities, and they don't want to necessarily change. They don't want to become to move to the Silicon Valley if they could. And now we have AI, which is going to make another change in our society.
Right.
We've gone way beyond the computer age now.
Right, right, yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see how both WPI and other universities help in creating a better foundation and understanding about that world.
Yeah, and that's why the upscaling, rescaling, cross-scaling is so important for the existing workforce. And I really think this is going to be the future. The technology pace is advancing faster and faster, and it's learning is the norm. We all need to learn. It's not only the students in the college need to learn, actually the existing workforce need to learn. We as leaders need to learn too. I think it's going to be the norm, and we just need to get ready. And our new AI degree programs, not only at the master level, we also created about a dozen of certificate program, graduate certificate program we call AI plus X. So basically, if you have a chemical engineering degree and you want to learn about AI, it's AI plus chemical engineering, AI plus biomedical engineering. So it's really if you learn about AI fundamentals and then learn how to apply AI, of course, responsibly, AI can generate a lot of new frontiers, new possibilities, and enable us to ask new questions.
So is there a degree program now at WPI, or is it more of a certificate like you're talking about?
No, we have actually all levels. We have a degree program, a master degree program in artificial intelligence. We have a bachelor, master, dual degree options in AI. We also have about 12 certificate program, graduate certificate program in what I call AI plus X. Yeah.
Do you know approximately how many students are involved in that?
So we just launched all these options in January of this year, and it's right now it generated a lot of excitement. It's one of the top searched degree programs at WPI, and we got inquiries across the country and also across the globe. So we'll see.
Now you've also taken a step with the state of Massachusetts. I know Maura Healey just appointed you to an AI roundtable. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so Governor Healey wants to get ready, of course, for this new AI era.
Right.
And I think she proposed to the legislature she's going to have a new executive order and take a look and see how to put together this AI task force, and the task force will recommend actions to the governor about what Massachusetts needs to do to get ready for the future.
So is the task force a combination of academics and people from business?
Oh yeah, academic, business, legislators, and the government. So it's from all different functions and all corners, and to take a look and see how to get ready.
So how do you balance all that? How do you balance everything between personal, the work you have to do day-to-day at WPI, outside boards? It's a juggling act, isn't it?
It is, but at the same time, I think it's also it's always on a daily basis is how we prioritize, right? What is important, what is urgent, what is pricing, and to the end of the day, the most important thing is how do we move WPI forward and move WPI to a different level. So that's always the focus.
Every day is a new challenge. So let's talk a little bit about, we'll take two unrelated topics. Building a real estate company, which is what I've been working on for a number of years and know something about, and in your case, building an educational community, which is, you know, the world you traffic in. So what are some of the factors that you believe underpin your success, because you've had great success now in helping to grow WPI and building this community-focused institution. So how do you think WPI is making the world a slightly better place?
Oh, I think we are probably making the world a lot better place.
A lot better place.
Yeah. No, I think, well, you have been mentoring me as one of our trustees, right? I think it's very similar to True America. When you build a real estate company, we serve our community. You serve the community.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, and we serve our community. It's just we have slightly different community, but think about it. You build the place to make the world a better place. We provide the talent and technology so that they will work in the place you build to make the world a better place.
Yes.
That, and to the end of the day, that's our community with people, talent, great ideas, and great solutions, and a great place to live, work, and socialize. Yeah.
Well, I think, you know, I've always believed that our educational system and its attractiveness in the United States is what makes us a stronger country, because in your case, you came from China.
Yes.
We've seen so many wonderful people come from all over the world to go to school in the United States, and many of them have chosen to stay there, which is as a result of our educational system and the opportunities that follow it. So we need to continue to foster that as a country.
Oh, definitely. And I think we don't talk about that a lot anymore.
No, we don't.
American dream. I mean, it's American dream not only for American here, and also people coming from all over the world to join our community, right? It's the American dream, and that's the beauty of higher ed and the beauty of WPI education. We enable dreamers. Our students are so motivated; they want to better the world. And the good thing about WPI is we never stop right there, as we don't only educate dreamers, we also educate doers. Our students are ready to work and come up with solutions and team up with other people, and they know that it takes diligence and real world work to make sure that they can come up with solutions. And I think moving forward, to your point, we also need to educate leaders. We need to be sure that our students are not only dreamers, doers, they are also willing to be out there and push the boundaries, lead the wave, and that is the future of American STEM education. We absolutely need to stay at the forefront as a country, as a community.
What do you see as the impetus to create more focus and better success for STEM, starting at the very fundamental level of school?
Yeah, that's a really good question. We have to start at K-12. And we all know that the early childhood education and at middle school, it really inspired the students and our children to be more interested in science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and that kind of interest is really important. and they should sustain through the high school, and then they are passionate about the science and technology and engineering. The thing is, a lot of students, they either don't get the exposure of math and science in their early childhood, or if they probably just don't have enough resources to make sure that they are inspired or feel this is exciting. So it's important we really instill that excitement among the children right now. And one way to do that is we need to be sure that anything we do in the STEM activities to make sure it's affordable, is also scalable.
And accessible.
And accessible, yeah.
So Grace, what do you think makes WPI stand out as an educational institution that makes a difference? Can you share an example or two of that?
So again, project-based learning. So WPI's project-based learning, particularly our focus to make sure that all our students from the day one at WPI and until they graduate, they have multiple experience in project-based learning. And 85% of our students today can have off-campus project experience, and our we call the IQP is covering 7 weeks highly immersive project experience. So our students learn about how to be great team players, great communicators, come up with solutions. If they don't have the solution, they need to learn the new knowledge, pivot, and come up with a new one. If the team dynamics doesn't work, you have to figure out how to make it work. Yes. And so think about when they enter the workforce, this is the real life experience. So that's why I don't know any other STEM education make sure the students understand the real world dynamics to be not only an engineer, a scientist, but also a team player, a communicator, and a leader. So WPI education is really effective for that reason.
It is, and I think part of the magic of it, I know when I was a student there, was that even though you were studying engineering, you also had a minor in some form of the humanities.
Yes.
And I think that helps from learning how to write, learning how to speak, and so forth. And I think that makes for a more well-rounded engineering graduate.
Oh, exactly. And so WPI students are very well-rounded. Not only we have, and we believe in technology and society. So that's why we teach arts and humanities. And also our students are so multi-talented. 1,800 students each year go through music programs.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I've seen that during the graduation.
They're so talented, right?
They're very talented, amazingly talented. Yeah. I said, what happened to me? So WPI, as we talked about, has been at the forefront of technical advances, and that's been going on since the mid-1800s, since the school was originated. In fact, WPI was one of the first universities in the nation to offer both a bachelor's degree all the way through PhD in robotics, which is a new field. And so what are the significant impacts WPI do you think have had on robotics engineering education, and any contributions you think they have made to the greater world in robotics?
So of course, robotics has always been a hallmark and a signature program at WPI, and over the last
I think it's like the fun major too.
The fun major, yes. And by the way, 15% of WPI students have first experience. They coming in, even they don't major robotic engineering at WPI, many of them have become interested in STEM field because of their experience in robotics competition. So that's how much robotics is something magic. I think it call out the curiosity and interest, and actually the dynamic and the fun from the kids. And that's really inspire this creativity. I think it's really, really important in the case of all the kids to have some level of exposure in robotics or in computer science or engineering. Even they are not interested in the STEM field, I think that exposure it's important. Yeah, but going back to robotic engineering, so WPI robotic engineering over the decades have enabled medical robotic surgery and using robots for to sort out trash, so for recycling, more effective recycling, and using robots, 3D rapid printed robots to help with disaster mitigation, where people or humans shouldn't go, or it's too risky for people to go. So there are a lot of activities in robotic engineering. If you check out our website, our faculty members are really creative, and our students really are very passionate about robotic engineering.
Do you see a confluence between robotic engineering and artificial intelligence?
Oh, there is really a lot of overlap already. And in the old days, it's robotic engineering. A lot of robotic engineers are from mechanical, electrical, or materials from all these areas. And today, a lot of our robotic engineering faculty members, their background is in computer science, and a lot of that is particularly focused on AI, artificial intelligence. So this artificial intelligence, and particularly generative AI, will enable a new era of robotic engineering. It's making the robots a lot more effective, more intelligent.
Is that what generative AI is?
Yes, it's just more intelligent, and also because how fast we can transmit data, and also the advancement in sensor and the sensing systems. So the robots will be a lot more effective as we move forward.
Maybe assembly line type jobs.
So if robots can do some mundane work, or the work that not so suitable for human to do, say it's more infectious, and the robots can do those work and make nurses' job more enjoyable or safer. And so I think we need to focus that part of the future of robotic engineering. And in terms of of education, we need to teach how human can work with robots, so that collaboration or augmented work is important.
Did you ever see the show back in the 1970s called Lost in Space, where they had a robot that was part of the crew? It was very, very cute.
See, the science fiction back then,
Yeah, it was science fiction, yeah.
look, it's becoming reality today. Right?
Now it's reality. Now when I go to my exercise class in Santa Monica on Saturday mornings, I see these little robots going up and down the road delivering food. And they know exactly where to stop at the curb, cross the street. It's amazing.
Oh, we have that at WPI too.
You do?
Oh, yes.
Oh my God.
We launched that, and the robots are delivering food to our students, and it's so fun.
It's amazing. So let's shift gears just for a moment and talk a little bit about ways to improve the community. You're now immersed in Worcester as both a place that WPI is located and the city itself as far as what's going on there. What has WPI been involved with, and what do you see as the goals in the kind of the charitable, philanthropic, volunteer activities for students, and what are some of those endeavors that WPI students are involved with?
Yeah. Oh, our students are very involved in the community. It's kind of the WPI spirit, right? We want to be an integral part of this Worcester community fabric. So we have created a scholarship fund. It's called the Great Mind Scholar. It's particularly focusing on the students coming from the K-12 at Worcester. So we provide a scholarship if they come to WPI. We use that to provide financial aid to those students. And our students also, and also faculty and staff, contribute a lot in the community through the food bank and working with all different kind of activities. So we contributed 15,000 hours to the community service just in the last few years. And also we have a Worcester Project Center. and we particularly make sure that it is not on campus. It's actually
Oh, so there's a project center in Worcester.
yeah, in downtown Worcester. And our students work on all different kind of projects, from helping with the local refugees to working on the environmental sustainability projects. And so these are our students' projects, but they focus on Worcester community. Yeah. We also launched a new initiative with the North High School.
With North High.
North High at Worcester, and we donated some little robots called SRP. This is co-designed by WPI and DICA, Dean Kamen's company.
Right.
Yeah.
Aren't you on one of the boards? It's called FIRST, I believe.
Yeah, I'm on the first board. Yeah. And so we co-designed this little robot, and they are very affordable. It's actually on sale right now by Spark Fund, a Colorado company.
Really?
Yes, and so we donated these robots to North High. The curriculum is designed by WPI faculty. And so we donated to them, and we want to make sure that the students over there at North High will start utilizing that. And we're going to visit them soon to take a look and see how effective it is to generate STEM interest.
So WPI is very involved in building a better community in Worcester.
Very much.
In a very innovative way. So let me ask you, you've followed a career in engineering and in science and now education. Tell us something that people would be surprised to know about you.
Oh, I love British literature. My favorite is Jane Austen.
Really? Okay, so you have a romantic side.
Yeah, that, and also I think Jane Austen is fascinating in a way. She can tell the ordinary, seemingly very everyday life in a way that with wisdom and also a sense of humor. And it's also very interesting. So I think that's fascinating.
That's fun. Tell us a story about your journey as far as what led you down to the career path in engineering. When you finished your PhD, you worked for IBM and this Hitachi Global Storage Technology, and then you went to the NSF and then SUNY and then OSU and now WPI. Is there an interesting transformational story that happened to you when you began?
Yes. And so when I was a PhD student at Northwestern Material Science Department, and I was, of course, like everybody else, getting ready to start and applying for academic jobs and trying to be a faculty member. But one night, the university hosted a seminar, and
At Northwestern?
At Northwestern, and this gentleman came over to give us the seminar. He used to be the head of Xerox PARC in California, and he talked about how Xerox PARC has been successful and also sometimes unsuccessful in bringing the technology into the real world to realize impact. And he was very candid. He talked about the lessons learned during that time. And I remember, so that was really the moment I clearly remember. I was sitting there in that auditorium. I thought, gee, I need to go out there. I need to know how to get the technology into a product. And what does that mean? So I went to Silicon Valley.
That's fantastic. How old were you when you came to the United States?
After I finished my master's degree, I went to college in Beijing, I finished master's degree, and then I came to United States.
Did you grow up in Beijing?
No, I grew up in the northeast of China. Yeah. It's called Liaoning. Yeah.
Do you get to go back there at all?
Yeah, I went back recently. Yeah.
Do you have family there still?
Yes. Yeah. My parents. Yeah.
Is it cold up there?
It's very cold and windy. Yeah, like Chicago.
You were ready. So I guess we'll just finish up here for a minute. You've covered a lot of ground here.
Yeah.
You talked about reading Jane Austen.
Yeah.
How else do you relax and unwind from a really crazy day as a president of WPI?
I exercise. I love to drink herbal tea. I exercise a lot at night.
You do?
And then when I exercise,
Do you go to the gym at Harrington?
I Peloton.
Oh, you have a Peloton. You're one of those. Okay.
And then I read. So I read about work.
What's your handle on the Peloton? What's your code name?
Oh, no, I don't have a code name. I should have one.
You should.
I know. What's your code name?
I don't go on it enough. I think I have it as RE Sales, real estate sales, because I like sailing and real estate.
Like you.
Yeah, but I gotta go on it a little bit more. Now you've inspired me.
Yeah.
So you keep fit. That keeps you sane.
Yeah.
I heard a quote about something that inspires you. It says, "Don't limit yourself." So why does that strike a chord with you, and how have you used that to accomplish your goals? And what do you want your legacy to be at WPI?
Yeah, so that was from a great mentor and friend of mine. When I was early in my career, she said this to me. She said, "I think you are limiting yourself. Whenever you tell yourself that there is something that you cannot do, you are absolutely limiting yourself." And then she said, "Just don't limit yourself." And I look back in many, many ways. It's not only for me as an individual. And today, while I'm leading WPI, you talk about legacy. I think WPI's future will be beyond my imagination. It's just the organization shouldn't have any limit either. It's just with determination, focus, and a collaborative community, we will have a bright future that's beyond our imagination.
Very exciting. Well, today we had Grace Wang, PhD, and 17th president of Worcester Polytechnic Institute here as our guest today. Grace, it's been a pleasure having you.
Well, thank you so much, Bob, for having me.